with some words from an unknown author that had really sat with me. The pain I feel today is the happiness I had before. The price of love is loss. You don't get one without the other. The grief that you continue to feel is the feeling of love that just lingers on. It is proof that something beautiful existed. Proof that someone's presence mattered so much that it's left an emptiness in its absence. How lucky are we to have loved so deeply? I asked Amma if she wanted to share anything, about Appa, as she was unable to speak herself. And all she could say to me is that she loved him so very deeply, and that he reminded her of her own father with his kindness, his generosity, and his large heart. They were married almost 50 years. We are so grateful to each of you for being here with us today and for all that you have done for him these past few years as he was getting sick. I live so far away, but knowing that you all have each other gives me a lot of solace, because the love, the outpouring of support is so incredible, and every time I'm here, I'm just reminded how lucky we are to have each other. Sam and I often say that we are so blessed to have had the honor and privilege of being loved and guided by a father like Appa. He truly was the best man I know. He loved unconditionally and was able to feel the pain of all those around him. So every interaction that he had, whether it was with us, with his family, with his colleagues, his patients, were filled with compassion and understanding, and that just made him an incredible doctor. I wanted to share some parts about her that were not so widely known. He was very naughty. He was very adventurous and childlike in many ways. He loved to play games, work with his hands and fix things. Always says that he was a plumber, he was an electrician, and a tailor all in one. If he had the time, he would even cook. He had no airs about himself and was a very easygoing person. He loved to experience things, and he truly enjoyed it if we were all along for the ride. A very endearing thing that he used to do every time he went to Orlando for work was forcing one of his colleagues to go with him to Disney World. He loved the energy and the people and the roller coasters. So about 6 or 7 years ago, he took Sam and I and our families to Disney, and we got electric scooters for him and for Amma. And it was one of the most memorable trips we've had. We've seen some of the pictures that have come up on the slideshow. He was just pure joy when he rode those roller coasters. Appa was a very, very simple man, but he carried a very heavy burden. It was the burden of everyone else's pain. And when it came to his own pain, he protected us from it. He wanted to live every moment to its fullest without focusing on his suffering. It didn't matter. His life had a greater purpose. His service to the world was all that he needed to keep going. And so he fought very, very hard, but in the end he couldn't fight anymore. And he told us that he was ready to rest. As I walk through our home, I get very sentimental about his things. The chair he touched, the reading glasses he used. And I grieve knowing that time will erase his touch and his smell. But then I remind myself that he lives in me, and in Sam, and in his 5 grandchildren that he loves so dearly. He lives in our smiles, in our mannerisms, and sometimes in our reactions. I don't even know if Sam realizes how much like Appa he is when he disciplines his children. The emptiness that we are feeling with Appa gone is indescribable. He was a force, and yet he was so soft-spoken. He was ambitious and hardworking, yet he was so kind and wanted everyone around him to thrive as well. No one will be able to fill that space, and I will hold that space for him, creating moments when we cry and grieve, and also rejoice in the memories that we shared, grateful for the privilege of being loved by him.